the actual act of going out, shoe leather journalism, is being really isolated. There's less and less of it. There's less and less resources for it. And there was a great Pew study out of Baltimore a few years ago that showed that roughly 96% of the news in the town, right, was still coming off old media sources, right? But old media was producing 73% less news stories than 20 years ago. So you've got a lot of churn around this, but not a lot of there. And people get that. Now the great crisis of the moment, and this is the thing to be really scared about, is that what we see is as old media, traditional media declines, as new media struggles because there's not the resources to do journalism, what fills the void? It's public relations. In 1980, when Ronald Reagan became president of the United States, there was a 1-to-1 ratio between journalists and PR people. Today, there is a 4-to-1 ratio, 4 PR people for every 1 journalist.
And this is particularly troubling when you look at some of the areas where media literacy is lacking, and people increasingly can't tell the difference between opinion and news journalism. I do an opinion show, and I'll get emails from people saying, I like you because you're less biased than Fox News, or more biased, whatever, I dislike you. And I don't care whether it's a positive or negative comment. My concern is this person can't seem to distinguish that, even if you don't agree that the Fox News programming is not opinion journalism. It's supposed to be reporting, and I'm doing opinion.
But where the problem is now, we have this void being filled by direct communication from either political or corporate players. And so we had the incident, we have a new book coming out, Dollarocracy, that talks about all this. And television stations in swing states in 2012 cut minutes off their local newscasts to fit in more advertisements for candidates. Now, that's a very stark equation where you're spending less money as an institution to cover campaigns, and you're letting the campaign communications be paid for by the players themselves. That is no longer a functional journalism system, a functional media system. What you really have is something that, and I'd say it very bluntly, it strays toward propaganda. It strays toward a point where those with the most money can actually communicate the most information.